The rumble of the 48 Ford finally gave out just as I hit the familiar stretch of road past Miller Park. Damn thing. Always acting up when I was dog-tired after a long shift at the Blets plant. The Milwaukee air was thick with the smell of hops and the promise of a late summer evening. I popped the hood, the meager street light casting long shadows, figured it was the points again. Sure enough, a bit of filing and scraping later, the engine coughed to life. An hour later than usual, I finally pulled up in front of Armada's duplex on Minnick Avenue. That's when I saw it parked right across the street. Gleaming under the street lamp was a car exactly like mine. Same faded blue, same dent in the fender from that time. Mrs. Kowalski backed into me, I chuckled. What were the odds? Another feller in the neighborhood with the exact same taste or lack thereof in automobiles. I climbed the porch steps, the familiar creak of the wood under my work boots, a comforting sound, but as I put my key in the lock and pushed the door open, the comfort shattered. The air inside was thick, heavy with a sound that made my blood run cold, the unmistakable rhythm of two bodies intertwined, gasping and moaning. My heart hammered against my ribs. Not my Millie, not my sweet Millie. I moved through the small living room, past the doily sheet so carefully placed, the framed picture of our wedding day. Each step was a lead weight pulling me towards the inevitable. The sounds grew louder as I reached our bedroom door. My hand trembled as I pushed it open. The scene that greeted me was a brutal tableau. Millie, my Millie, naked and entangled with a man. A stranger shock rippled through me, a cold wave that threatened to drown me, but the shock on their faces mirrored my own. Then as they scrambled apart, a new, more terrifying wave washed over me. The man, he looked exactly like me, not just similar, exactly the same receding hairline, the same stubborn set to the jaw, the same damn mole on his left cheek. I didn't have a twin, no brothers, this couldn't be real. Who the hell are you? I roared, the sound raw in my throat. Who the hell are you? He shot back, his voice, my voice, the same thick Wisconsin drawl, the same slight rasp from years of shouting over the bottling machines. It was uncanny, horrifying. Millie gasped, her eyes wide with terror before she crumpled to the floor in a dead faint. Identify yourself, I screamed, but when I'm Frank Kowalski, he yelled back, his voice echoing mine. That's my name! I bellowed. He fumbled for a pair of pants lying on the floor, his movements jerky and bewildered. We stared at each other, two identical men in a state of utter disbelief. How? How was this possible? Millie stirred, her eyes fluttering open, confusion clouding her features. She looked from me to him, back to me, her breath catching in her throat. It was like looking at a distorted reflection, a nightmare made flesh. We started talking, a disjointed, frantic exchange. Memories were shared, details of our life with Millie, things only I could know. He knew them too. It was as if a mirror had gained consciousness, a phantom of my own existence. The initial fury gave way to a chilling silence. We sat there, the three of us in the dim light of the bedside lamp, grappling with the impossible. Two identical men, married to the same woman. Then, a brutal realization slammed into both of us at the same time. Our sounding the commotion. What if the neighbors had heard? What if they called the cops? The image of a squad car pulling up, finding this bizarre scene, filled me with dread. Two freaks, 1 million unconscious on the floor. It would look insane. Darkness fell outside, painting long shadows across the room. No sirens pierced the night. The immediate danger seemed to have passed. We moved to the living room, the three of us sitting in separate chairs. That's when I realized something even more unbelievable. I had clear memories of making love to Millie this afternoon. The other Frank was the one physically there with her, but I could clearly remember the encounter from a first-person perspective. I asked the other Frank if he had any memory of working a shift at the plant today, even though he was home with Millie. He did.
He could clearly remember working a full shift today, even though I was the one physically there. We talked a little longer and realized we were having the exact same thoughts at the exact same time. We were the same person, the same consciousness. Somehow I split into two bodies, but not two different people. There was still just me. This was a good thing. I had become the only person in the world able to be two places at the same time. I'm going to be unstoppable. I'll be able to accomplish anything if I played my cards right. I could become very successful.
I'd never been happier in my life. I scooped Millie up into my arms, took her to our bedroom with my second body following close behind. We fell into bed. I laid down on both sides of her and put my 4 arms around her. I kissed her on the lips and neck at the same time and made love to her in ways only a man with 2 bodies could. I felt like a god. I experienced the entire encounter from both perspectives simultaneously. I experienced a level of sexual gratification impossible for anyone else to achieve unless they also had 2 bodies sharing one consciousness. The first rays of dawn woke me. I stretched, my muscles stiff and sore from the night spent in the throes of physical passion. Then I looked towards the hallway, towards the kitchen. A horrifying stillness hung in the air. Millie. I rushed to the bedroom door. The sight that greeted me sent a jolt of pure terror through my body. Millie lay on the floor, her body twisted at an unnatural angle. A dark stain bloomed on the faded floral pattern of the rug. A butcher knife, the one we kept in the kitchen block, lay beside her lifeless, mutilated form. My breath hitched, I stumbled back, my mind reeling. To my horror, I started to remember everything, waiting for myself to fall asleep. Quietly slicing Millie's throat with the butcher knife, dragging her into the hallway and carving all those terrible words into her flesh as she started up at me in terror until she lost enough blood to fade out of consciousness, coming back to bed and laying down on top of myself, laying down into myself, 2 bodies becoming one again. I had to call the police. My hand trembled as I reached for the phone, but as I dialed, the cold, hard reality of the situation crashed down on me. How could I explain this? I was temporarily 2 people and the other Frank did it. When the detective arrived, his face grim, I told him a different story. I told him Millie had fallen asleep on the couch and I hadn't wanted to wake her. When I woke up this morning, I found her like this. I watched his eyes, the suspicion that immediately flickered within them. I was the husband, I was the obvious suspect. The investigation was swift and brutal, no forced entry, no other fingerprints on the knife. The neighbors, their faces grim, recounted the terrible fight they'd heard the previous afternoon. 2 men shouting, a woman screaming. They didn't find another Frank Kowalski. How could they? He was me.
The trial was a blur of accusations and damning evidence. The jury didn't take long. Guilty. Now, I sit in this cold, sterile cell, the clang of the iron door echoing the finality of my fate. They say I murdered my wife, they don't know about the other me, the phantom who walked into our lives and stole everything. They don't know the true horror of that night, the impossible reality that led me here. All they see is a jealous husband, a brutal crime, and I, Frank Kowalski, quietly wait for my bite in the electric chair. Every day I try to understand what really happened and why. I try to figure out if I actually deserve this spot on death row. I did kill my wife, but at the same time, I didn't kill my wife.